How's it going, guys? Kongi here. So, COD's getting pretty boring at certain aspects, so I'm going to start doing a few different videos, basically just talking about different things happening in my life, like doing some stories and a couple of different vlogs and, answering questions on certain things. And so today I saw a video of some girl doing a my firsts video, so basically just, first pet, first kiss, first everything like that. So I've compiled a bit of a list on my phone at work today on my lunch break, so I'm going to go through them and yeah, just pretty much discuss my first. So first one I've got here is first drink, like alcoholic drinks. So I wasn't a hardcore kid at all. I think the first time I drank was at my schoolies. Now in WA and Queensland, I believe, you're actually not 18 in your schoolies. So I'm born in March, so I was probably 17 and a half, maybe, sort of 17, 8 months or something. And that was the first time that I seriously got drunk. When I was 16, my parents would let me take a beer or two to parties and everything like that, but that was pretty much it. First time taking drugs. I think I smoked. Yeah, funny thing, I actually think I smoked weed before I drank seriously. I was still in high school. I might have been 17, but it was a pathetic attempt. It was pretty funny. I don't even think I got high or anything. But yeah, I don't take drugs at this current stage of my life or anything. I have taken ecstasy, as you guys have seen in my previous videos, and an assortment of others, but it's not really a part of my life. I've got friends that regularly take stuff, but yeah, I don't really like it. I just like to drink instead. My first kiss. Now, same again. I was a bit of a puss. I was terrible with the ladies, and I think my first kiss was the holidays of year 11 going into year 12. So yeah, I was 16 and almost 17 before I even had my first proper make out kiss, and it was at a party, and a random girl that I know now who it was, but I didn't know who it was at the time, grabbed my face while we were dancing on the dance floor, and I had no idea what was going on, didn't know what to do, and I was just kind of shocked. Yeah, so that was pretty much it, and that was it. And yeah, that was a pretty terrible first kiss experience. But yeah, my first pet. Now, we had a dog when I was really young, but I think we had to have it put down because it was a bit of a psycho. But I was 1 or 2 or something when that happened. And besides from that, my big fat cat, who you guys would have seen, the one that's usually laying on my bed and me giving it the finger, was my first pet. I think we got him when I was 5, I think. So he's 16 now. He's a bit of an old bucket, but yeah, he's that's my first pet, my cat Felix. My first word was dada. My first job. Now I got a job doing a paper route when I was 13 or 12 or something. As you guys may know, so that's to buy my first not my first surfboard, but that was the first surfboard that I bought, and it was probably my first good one. But aside from that, my first job was working at as a party host at a place called Dinosaur Gyms, where it's a big kids center where they had parties and everything, kids parties and stuff like that. My first holiday, I think it would have just been going down south or something. Now, down south for us in WA is there's a place called an area called down south area is basically the town of Dunsborough down to about Margaret River, where all you guys might know it. It's quite a common surf spot. Or surf. There's a lot of good surf breaks along there. But I think that was my first sort of just holiday sort of thing. And then as a family, we went to Bali a few times, but and the Gold Coast. But yeah, that's just a few bits and pieces. My first major holiday. Now, aside from driving to Melbourne as a family, my first major holiday was for my 18th birthday. I got to go to the Maldives, as you guys have seen. I've been back there since, but that was out of my own wallet, which was a bit hectic. But yeah, first major holiday with extended flights and stopovers and stuff was the Maldives. It's a 6-hour flight to Singapore, 8-hour stopover in Singapore, and then 6 hours to the Malay, and then a 2-hour boat in pitch black. It's fucking terrifying, to the island of Chiadon Valley, which is where we stayed. First girlfriend was a girl called... my first girlfriend that I had was a girl that asked me out when I was 14. She lived across the road from me. And yeah, we got pretty coupley, I guess, for a few weeks, holding hands and shit. But as I said, I hadn't have a kiss and still didn't have a kiss. But it's funny now, I found her profile the other day. She's actually pregnant, so it's kind of good that I got out of there. And my first proper girlfriend, who was like my first love, was this girl called Maddie, who she was my first everything pretty much. Started dating her when I was would have been 17, I think, almost 17, I think. But yeah, she was my first girlfriend, and we dated for about 2 years, I think. But yeah, she's a bit of a weirdo now as well, so glad I got out of there. First time getting in trouble. Now, I think the youngest memory that I have of getting like in proper trouble was we were waiting for a pizza, and there was like a whole bunch of family members sitting around the table having dinner, and like family friends and stuff as well. And we were waiting on the pizza to arrive, and being young, and I've walked out. I think I would have been like two or maybe three. I think maybe three. And I asked Dad where the pizza was in my little babyly voice or whatever, and then he goes, "Oh, it's not ready yet." And I said, "Dad, just go get the fucking pizza or something," to the thrill of, all the family friends around, and my mum's just like, "Oh," all that shit. Aside from that, I think I got in trouble for like eating lolly snakes out of the thing at Woolworths, like just straight out of the tub, and the guy had to take me over to find my mum and tell me off and tell me not to do it again, and almost made mum pay like 50 cents for the lollies or something. First time getting walked in on in a sort of girlfriendly manner. I think with my first girlfriend, this was when I was like 18, I think, or maybe like halfway through I was being 17. I had like a back room in my old house, which was like a granny flat sort of thing, which is where I used to have my Xbox and everything like that. There was like a bed there, and me and the current girlfriend were getting a little frisky. There was some removal of clothes, without going into too much detail, and my sister walked in, and yeah, she wasn't thrilled, and I think probably still scarred to this day. My first ever concert was, I think my first ever proper concert was Metallica. I went to like Soundwave and everything like that, which is a metal event. If you guys, for non-Australians, if maybe you don't know, but Metallica was definitely my first like concert, like big concert sort of thing, and that still sticks in my mind. It was fantastic, but I was tiny, and all the big blokes, pushing you around and shit, and I was just like, help! I almost lost one of my shoes and stuff, and it was just, with like 3 other really short mates, so that was interesting. My first sport was t-ball, and then I moved into footy, and then obviously surfing. My first memorable surf was it was sort of like, I guess it's my first, but like my most memorable, where I surfed my best and had it all to myself. Basically, in the Maldives on my first trip, there's a wave called Sultans, which is a long right-hander. It was quite big. I was surfing there. Everyone else was kind of like in the lunch layover period. Like normally you surf quite early in the morning, have breakfast, surf before lunch, have lunch, and then surf in the afternoon, and then maybe get another surf in. But it was like that lunchtime period, and no one was surfing. So my dad, like 2 other people we went with, they weren't interested. So I just went off. I was like, fuck it, I'll jump on a boat. But since I was only 18 and like a bit of a hazard, one of the surf guides on the island jumped over with me, so we went over on the boat to the wave Sultans, and it was like 6 to 8 foot and fucking just perfect. And there was another boat of people there, but they were also having lunch as well. So I got to jump in the water with 2 blokes. So the guy that owned the charter boat, and a surfer that didn't want lunch, and me and a surf guide. So it was literally me and this other bloke trading wave for wave in completely perfect, like the stuff you see in fucking movies or like surf movies and stuff. Just absolutely perfect. Just it was fantastic. And just sitting there, just a couple of us, it was unreal. My first COD team, going into the video game stuff now, was I think besides that was like the first like serious one. I had a mate get me to join like as just an IRL mates, where we used to trick shot like back in the early MW2 days, when it was like 360s off the quarry hill and shit like that, called Create, like spelled CRE8, which makes me want to kill myself because of that fat Asian that shares the name as it now. But anyway, nah, he's alright. First clip recorded was my quad. My quad with the Barrett on Showdown was my first ever recorded clip. That was fucking hilarious because I actually pooed myself when I hit it. I was screaming so loud, and my girlfriend at the time had just gotten over. I was like, I'll just finish this game and I'll turn it off. And then I hit it and I started screaming like, oh my god, that was the first quad I'd ever hit, first good clip or whatever, even if it was Hardcore Headquarters Showdown and down the tunnel. It was so cool. And I was like screaming, and she freaking like ran out of the room because she had no idea what was going on. My first successful video, I think I started making like these MW3 trick shotting videos, which is just going in trick shots, like doing it in private matches, like the new maps that came out, because I noticed not many people got them, and we had the season pass, but we couldn't find them in public matches, so we basically just went into private matches and fucked around and tried to find some cool trick shot spots. So that was probably my first sort of successful-ish videos, but aside from that, just a couple of montages, you know, here and there. First team... Oh no, I've already got that one. That's done. My first fight... Now, I haven't actually been in like a full-on fist fight. I've usually been the diffuser of any sort of fist fighting shit that goes on. But I had to break up a... No, sorry. Besides breaking up fights, I've been involved in... I've hit someone, but it was basically just out of a complete freaking out and self-defense, because I did like karate and shit when I was back of being a bit of a degen, but basically... my first ever girlfriend that I spoke about earlier, this guy was sort of tormenting a bit out of me, like calling me a fag and stuff like that. And so one day I was walking up my street from the bus stop. The bus stop was at the bottom of the street, and my house was sort of halfway up the top of the street. And I was walking back, and I was carrying my surfboard in one hand and then my backpack in the other. And the bloke's walked up behind me. I didn't hear him, and he snatched my bag out of my hand. So I've turned around and fucking absolutely clocked him in the head. And he's just like, I didn't hit him that hard or anything. I don't know what exactly happened, but he sort of stumbled back, picked up my bag, didn't say anything, turned around and walked straight in. It never bothered me again, but, you know, like, I'm too much of a bitch to ever want to fight anyone or ever be in a fight. So, yeah, I've just never had that sort of encounters, and if I have, it's been either, like, diffused by security guards or stuff like that. So, yeah, nothing serious. First broken bone, and... being first time, like, sort of being really freaked out, or, you know, in a scary situation, was actually the same one, so I tied these two together. I was surfing out at a spot called Little Island, which is basically like a kilometre out, like, boat trip from my main harbour, which is quite close to my house. I went out from there, and we used to do that, so we used to surf there all the time. But basically what happened was that there's like quite a decent paddle through really fucking deep water to this spot from the boat where you have to anchor the boat. And I came off my board sort of as I was under the water. I felt something smack me in the face, and it was my surfboard, and it's hit me right across the nose. My nose is actually still crooked to this day. I can't wear sunnies properly. But yeah, it's whacked me in the nose, and I've, you know, been all like come up, and as soon as I've touched my face, like there's blood all dripping down my arm. It was crazy, and as I was paddling back to the boat, I'm sort of like paddling like this, like one arm and swapping arms, and there's just a trail of blood pouring behind me. And obviously there's been shark sightings out there, and West Australia is quite notorious for sharks, so paddling back to the boat, this fucking deep as fuck water, paddling through it, and I couldn't get back to that boat fast enough, I tell you. It was petrifying. And my dad didn't come in for another hour, so I sat in the boat by myself for an hour with a broken nose until someone came past on another boat and said to my dad, "I think your son's broke his nose, you should probably go see him." And he was like, "Oh fuck." So that was interesting. First recurring nightmare. Now, that was probably... You guys are going to judge me for this, but Slenderman still fucks with me to these days. Not as much anymore, but back when I had a bit of anxiety and paranoia, when I was like 18 or 19, I think, but I got really indulged in the whole, you know, mystery behind that, the myth, and it really fucked with me, and I had sleep paralysis, I think, twice from Slenderman, like, being over me and not being able to get rid of him, sort of thing. And it's like, you know, it's a real pussy sort of thing, but I'm fucking terrified of horror movies and that shit. I would be the worst boyfriend, I swear to God. Like, girls that want to watch horror movies with you and stuff, I'd just say, nah, sorry, I can't do it. But yeah, that was the first sort of recurring nightmare that I've had, and call me a bitch, you know, it's just the way it is. I used to have to sleep with the door open, that kind of stuff, but yeah. Now, another interesting one, first time watching porn, I swear to God, I was like, it would have been like 11 or 12, and a friend of mine, we watched it like together in the same room, which would have been, I think back on that now, how really weird that is. But lesbian porn, the way to go. As a 12-year-old boy, dicks scare you. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. I don't think my parents have ever caught me watching it or anything like that, so it's always been good. Now, first goal achieved. I think the first goal achieved would have been, there's been a few, sort of like being able to run 5Ks without stopping for me was amazing. In surfing, my first barrel sort of thing. Also being in a physical sort of way as well, being able to lift my own body weight on the chest press. That was when I was at my peak physical form, which I'm not anymore, as I am getting a bit fat and drinking too many beers and working too much sitting behind a computer all day. So yeah, but aside from that, another goal, probably just getting into the industry that I am today. So yeah, now this video has gone for like 15 minutes, so hopefully you guys can actually stand to watch this. I will try and make other videos like this, preferably shorter. But I've rabbled on. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and definitely let me know if you guys want me to do more of this stuff, because I will. I really like doing these kind of videos for you guys. So yeah, just give us some suggestions in the chat box and the comment section, and hope you guys have a good day. This has been Conky. Deuces.